Hello guys. So to start doing data science practically, you need a programming language, and Python is one of the most popular languages to do data science. So today we would actually see how to install Python in your local machine. So to actually code in Python, you could either install it in your local machine, or you can also do it from your from the cloud, right? So we won't see the latter one today, but we would actually focus on the first one, where we would install Python in your local machine. So if you are a Ubuntu or Linux user or a Mac user, you might have Python installed by default. So how to see that? You could always go to the terminal, or in Windows you could go to the command prompt. So just write command prompt or CMD. You can just search for CMD, and it would come up. It's just a black screen like this. So and it shows you the default location. So for Linux user, you could just do Control Alt T, or you could also directly search for terminal, and you can open the terminal. And if you just write Python, if you have Python installed in your local machine, then you and when you press enter after pressing Python, you should be able to see the Python version, and it should open the Python, right? And how do you know that Python is open? Because you would see three greater than signs, which is the default sign for Python interpreter. But when I basically press Python, you would see that nothing comes up, and it automatically opens up the Windows Store for me, where it shows me how to install Python. But we won't do it from here, and it's not recommended. So some of you might actually get to see a error message here, that Python is not recognized as an command, as an external or internal command. So that means that Python is not installed on your machine. So how to install it now? Even for Linux or Mac users, even if you get Python by default, you might want to change the version of it. You might want to basically upgrade to the latest version, so you should start seeing it. You could do it this way. So go to your browser, any browser that you are using. Go to the browser, and you could search for just Python. That's all. If you search for Python, one of the first options that you would see is www.python.org. That's the official Python website from where you should download Python. So you could directly go to downloads over here, or you could just go to the site and click in the downloads. So in downloads, you could actually go to other releases as well, but I would recommend you to actually uh, always install the latest version, or very close to the latest version. So if you think that, okay, I don't want to go to the latest version, you could do it like 3.9, but don't go very far away from the latest version, because a lot of things won't support if you go towards a very old version. So just click on download Python 3.10.4, and I would see .exe file is being downloaded. So let just choose your location where you want to download it. If I download it over here, you can see it's already here for me. It's already downloaded. You could just download it in your preferred location. And once you have downloaded the version, now it's an AEXE file, since I am using a Windows machine. If you are using Linux or Mac, you could always just use the uh, .deb or such files based on your operating system. So once it's downloaded, just go to the downloaded folder, and once you go to the downloads folder, let me see where I have downloaded it. It's in the downloads folder for me. As you can see, it would look something like this: Python, the version, and then you would see .exe, AMD64.exe. Just double click on it, and this dialog box will open up. Now here's something very important. Always remember to actually click on this add Python 3.10 to path. We would also explore why it is required, but always remember to checklist this thing, add Python to path, and then you could just do install now, or you could do customize installation. This is just to basically change the location of where it is being installed. So I don't want to change the location, but if you want, like you want a uh, specific folder, specific place where you want to install Python, then you could do customize installation. For now I'm just doing install now, and again stressing it again and again that please check this one, add Python to the path. Now if I just click on install 10, install now, it would just give me a dialog box, and voila, so it starts installing. And so adding path, let me just give you a couple of pointers on why adding path is required. So you might have seen that you might want to access a program from anywhere in your system, and if you want to do that, so it needs to be in the system path. And what I mean by actually accessing it, say for example you are in C drive, uh, you might want to access Python from there, and you have installed Python in that particular folder location itself, then it's okay. But if you are in a different folder structure, if you are in a different place in your system, and you still want to access Python or open Python, if it is not in system path, then you won't be able to do it. So this is why we need to add Python to the system path. In a later video I will show you how to do that manually, but it's always good to do that while you are actually installing Python, because while installing you already get this option by default, so it's just clicking a checklist, that's all. So setup was successful, as you can see. I can close this over here, and now how do I check that whether Python is installed or not? You could again just open command prompt, or you could also do terminal if you are Linux or Mac user. And again I could just write Python. In the beginning you saw, like when I write Python and press enter, it would basically directly took me to the Windows store because it didn't find anything. But now when I actually write Python and press enter, you could see something like this, where you could see the Python version and the interpreter is already there. So you would, if you see these three greater than signs, that means okay, you should see able to see all this information over here, then that it means that Python is installed in your machine. So just quit in it. And just to show, like it's in the path, what I mean by path, like it was already installed in this folder, right? It's the default folder location. But if I change my location to say for example in D drive, and even if I want to open Python from here, I would be able to do that. So even from a different location I would be able to do that, because Python is now recognized as a command all over the computer because it's in the system path. So hopefully you are able to install Python in your local machine. There's another way to do that. So this is where you actually directly install Python in your system. There's another way of actually accomplishing that, and that is through a platform, a data science platform. So let me show you that as well. Let me actually close this command prompt. So for that you could actually go to the browser again, and you could search Anaconda. You could just write Anaconda in your search bar, and you would see, so this is the official website for Anaconda. So what Anaconda is, it's a platform where you not only get the language, that is the Python, but you get some other libraries included in this platform, and it is tailor made for data science. So this is also something that you can do, and I would actually recommend new users to use Anaconda a lot, because as I said, I would probably explain this in a later video, that you need a lot of libraries, packages to actually do data science, because there are so many things that you might require to do. And usually if you are just installing Python in your machine, you might have to do it manually, like whenever you are required a particular library or particular package, you have to install that independently. while in Anaconda you already get a kind of a starter pack, right? So you already have pre-installed libraries, but obviously for a bit advanced users, and I would if you really want to learn data science and learn to code, I would recommend to do it separately. But yeah, you could also do it in this way where you have the whole starter pack installed. So in anaconda.com you could see there you already can see a download button. So it's actually open source for individual users, but if you are a commercial user, then you have to actually purchase their license and stuff like that. But for individual users it's open source, so you can do either through Python or R, but yeah, I'm doing it for Python 3. And you could see the version here as well, it's Python 3.9, that's the latest one that they have. And you could just press on download, and it would download the .exe file. And again, just clicking on the .exe file would basically let you go through. Let me actually see, I already have one installed in my machine. So let's search for Anaconda. Yeah, so it's something like this. Once you download it, you would see a .exe file being saved, and you could just click on it, follow the instruction, and you would have Anaconda installed. So once you have Anaconda installed, what you can see, let's actually cancel this. So once you have Anaconda installed on your machine, you could just directly search for Anaconda here, and you would be able to see a few options, right? You could see Anaconda Navigator, Anaconda PowerShell prompt, Anaconda prompt. So just click on Anaconda prompt. It's almost similar to what you see in your normal command prompt or normal terminal, but you could also see something that there's a environment that is already being activated. We would talk about that in a later video as well, what is environment and how to activate an environment. But you could see one environment already being activated, and if I now write just Python in this particular environment, you would see that it's Python 3.8.8. So it's a defined Python version because it is installed in the starter pack that I had for Anaconda. So it's different from what I actually installed independently through Python's website, right? So this is in Anaconda. So Anaconda is a platform. Again, just repeating, Anaconda is a platform which comes pre-installed with all the things that are necessary for doing data science. But obviously there might be a lot of other things that you might be required which is not in Anaconda, which you again have to install separately. But yeah, it comes with a starter package where you already have a few things to start with. And let me quit again. So don't panic if you see like defined version in Anaconda Python and normal Python, because those two are separate. Okay, uh, I hope you guys are able to install Python in your local machine now. And there are a few other things, few other checklists that you need to properly complete, and we can then start on our data science journey.